Okay, so on day 2, you'd be starting from here where you'd have your base done. So now our goal is to create our designs that are going to go up and make the walls of our clay pot. So your assignment is to create 3 different designs. So you have to do at least 3 rows high, okay? And within those rows you have to show 3 different hand-built designs. So here would be 1, 2, 1 line, 1 coil counts as 1 design, and 3. And I could have stopped there if I wanted to, because that would have fulfilled the assignment. You can do more than 3 if you choose, and you're allowed to go up 1 row taller than your bucket if you would like, okay? But no more than that, otherwise it'll collapse. So a few designs that I'm going to show you today. One starting with kind of like making a mini base. So just like you did on day 1, you were creating a basic coil, right? The size of the width of your widest finger, not including your thumb, okay? And then this would be just the start of a base, not a fully finished base, so it's just a little mini base. And these are about 2 inches in height. You don't want to go much more than 2 inches. So what I'm doing is making one that'll stay out as my measuring piece. So that's my example. And then I'm going to create, out of my coils, I'm going to create more based off of that little one. Although I can tell this coil is obviously too big. But my goal is to create pinwheels that are the same size, okay? So I don't want to go bigger, I want them to be the same size. So then I'm going to place them row by row, okay? So you can kind of see how I'm just going to place them all the way around my clay pot, and I'm going to make sure that they're touching the edges. You don't want them leaning in, you want them to be resting against the sides. Once I complete the full row, then I'm actually going to use my fingers, and I'm going to, and of course this row isn't completely finished, so it shouldn't be blended yet. I would complete the row, then I'm going to blend, just gently pushing some of this to the base to blend it there so it's together, and then I'm also going to do the same on the sides and make sure they're blended together there as well, so it's nice and smooth texture. And it's all smooth on the inside, so I don't see any of the designs. So the inside's going to be all smooth, and outside is where the design should show. So that's one example, and now you know how to actually blend a row. The next example of a design you can try is taking a little piece of clay, rolling it into a ball, and then I just push down on the ball a little bit to make it into a coin. Still paying attention to the size thickness there. Don't care about that side because that's the decorative side. The thickness is what I care about, okay? So that might be my example piece, and then I would continue making more until I had a full row, because I'm going to build 1 full row at a time, and then I'm going to blend that row together, okay? So I'm going to build 1 row, blend 1 row, build 1 row, blend 1 row. So here's a row of pinwheels, completely finished, all the way around, leaning against the edges, blended from side to side, blended to the base as well. So that's exactly what you're going to do. Build a row, blend a row, build a row, blend a row. So here's polka dots. Another idea that you can do is work a little bit with the slabs, and you can take a piece of clay, flatten it out, and use one of the clay knives to cut your pieces. You just want to make sure that you don't get them too skinny. You want them to still be the size, measurement, thickness that you need. So still the size of your widest finger approximately, okay? So I can use that as my test piece again, and then keep adding more to that. Another idea I can do is I can take a ball of clay, and I can pull one end just a little bit to make like a teardrop shape. Okay, so that's another idea. I could also take that teardrop shape, roll my finger over the top edge of the teardrop, and make it into the shape of a heart. So that's another one. I can take 2 coils and I'd probably roll these a little bit thinner than my actual measurement that I'm supposed to be using, because I would be combining these two together. So I can pinch one end and then twist these together. Okay, so the twist would look like my top edge there. Okay, another idea I can do is take a coil and do a zigzag with my coil. Just be aware that you'll have to do some blending on these edges along the way of bending it, because they will get a little stress cracks on them. And that would look like this finished row here. Okay. Last but not least, I can take maybe 3 pieces, 3 coils, probably a little bit thinner than my normal measurement again, pinch these 3 together, and I could do a braid. Okay, that would be a pretty tough pattern to do, but if you have the patience to do it, it looks nice in the end. Okay, so I could take my time and work out those cracks as they form and do a row that's a braid. Okay, so those are just some patterns that you can try out. If you're going to do a negative space row for a candle holder, just keep in mind that you'd want your spacing to be appropriate. So the bigger your space is, the more risk you're going to have of collapsing. So give it a decent amount of space, and between each negative row, I want you to make sure you have one straight line. That's called a support coil, so that you can work on top of that row. So any negative space row has to have a straight line coil on top. Okay. If you get to the end of the hour and you don't have time to use these decorations that you made, store them right on top with your extra. Just keep these off to the side so they don't get smushed, and store your extra clay off to this middle. And just make sure to ball it up so it stays moist, and wrap it up like normal. Okay, that's it.